Hi, welcome back to my channel. Tonight I want to talk about Marvin Sapp and his response to all the backlash that he has started. Let's get into it. Welcome to the My Reader Minutes, your ultimate destination for sharp commentary, in-depth recaps, and unfiltered takes on reality TV and celebrity drama. If you crave honest reviews, sizzling gossip, and deep dives into the biggest moments in entertainment, you're in the right place. From the Real Housewives and Married to Medicine to the latest headlines on Wendy Williams, Diddy, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, and more. We break it all down with insight and wit and a touch of shade. So hit that subscribe button, please. Get comfy and let's dive into the drama together. Now, tonight I want to talk about Marvin Sapp. Yeah, far cry from the other celebrities. He's in the religious realm. So I will post here, somewhere over here, the video that I did on his viral moment asking for donations from his congregation. Well, he's come back out to respond to the backlash that all of that has conjured up when he told his ushers to close the doors and repeatedly told them to close the doors several times because he didn't want people to leave without getting a $20 donation. Now, I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say that. But he basically said, close the doors, close the doors, close the... I said, close the doors. There's 1,000 people in here. And he needed them to sow a small seed of $20 that would give them $20,000. And for those that were online, there were about 1,000 of them online too. They could also sow that same small seed for $20. That would give a grand total of $40,000. Now, he basically said, you ain't gonna do nothing anyway. You ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant. Meaning that you have money to go eat. Why can't you give it to the church? He wanted that money. He didn't want you to spend it anywhere else. He just knew that you had an extra $20 in your pocket, regardless if you've already tithed for the month or tithed for the week or however you do your tithes. He wanted an extra $20 because y'all was sitting in the room. And he said, close the doors. Now, he basically said, he didn't mean it that way. He never said, lock the doors. That's not what he was doing. He was not holding people hostage. People ran with a narrative that was not true. Well, if that was the case, that's fine and okay. I wasn't there, so I only can go by what I heard on the video. But basically, after you said, close the doors, don't worry about it, we'll all leave together. That means can't nobody leave until you leave, right? Don't worry about it. We all gonna leave together. So you holding me here until you ready to leave? Until you deem me ready to leave? Or I mean, why we all gotta all leave together? Why can't I leave by myself if I'm not held here? It was the way he said it and how he meant it. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, he wanted people to give $20, even if you didn't have it. And he wanted to see it go into the buckets. He wanted the buckets up front, and he wanted to see you put your money in. Even if you wasn't giving it, tangibly, put your cell phone on the bucket so he could see it. That's why a lot of people are turned off from the church. That is exactly why a lot of people are. Those mega churches, because he's a part of a mega church. I don't like them. I did get caught up in one long time ago, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna put it up here, and I'll tell you my story. And I witnessed that in the mega church that I semi belonged to. I went there for a brief moment during a low period in my life. I think I was going through my divorce, and I felt like he was talking to me at the time. As I came out of whatever I was going through, I didn't feel like he was talking to me anymore. I mean, he served a purpose for that time being, for that season, might as well say. And I didn't go back. I didn't go back. And I was writing my checks. And one thing kind of opened my eye. And I was writing my checks. I mean, they weren't big checks because I ain't had no money like that for real. But I was calling myself, it was money to me. You know what I'm saying? So if I had $20 to give on every Sunday, that was good, right? And I was writing my checks. And I never forget, they sent like a financial thing and they had all these zip codes in there of people that had given donations. Now, I know I had given, and like I said, it wasn't a lot. And I wasn't going, I hadn't, did I go for at least a year? I might have gone for at least a year, year and a half, right? And I felt like I was given almost every Sunday. So I put, a significant amount in the plate. But when I didn't see my zip code, like he had, received money from me, I knew right then and there I wasn't a part of that. Like, why? I was looking all over. Like, it was mostly, the zip codes that surrounded the church in that area because I didn't live near the church. I was like a good 20 minutes from the church, maybe 30 minutes from the church, and I had to travel to get there. But I mean, he was on TV. I could have stayed home and watched him, you know. But when I looked at that financial thing that he printed out or whatever that was for the congregation, I'm looking for my zip code because I know he counted my checks. And when I didn't see my zip code, I was like, I put money in here. So I felt some way about that because I didn't see my zip code. And then after a while, I grew out of it. I mean, I mean, you can get, let me tell you something. If you're going through something and you looking for that spiritual nurturing, they can get you. They can get you. And he wasn't the one that harped on money though. He didn't harp on money. If you had, you had. He didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? He made you fall for him, which made you want to do that. I'll never forget it was his anniversary. And I'm not gonna say no names because he is a prominent figure in the um religious realm. But he made you fall for him almost. And I never forget it was his anniversary. And the church was really, like, oh, it's his something anniversary. I can't remember how many years it was. It was a long time. And they kept standing up, giving him, praise or whatever. And that's fine, because it was an accomplishment. It was me. But they kept doing it. I'm like, and it got to the point where it didn't even feel right anymore because I was like, how many times are we gonna do this? Because I'm not worshiping him. But they were like they couldn't give him enough praise. I get it. That was his day, his anniversary. But I felt like, this feeling ain't what I want to feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worshiping him. I felt like he was giving me a word. And he may have been. God may have used him to give me a word. He uses everybody. But that other feeling I was feeling, I didn't like it. So eventually over time, I I moved away. I was still watching from time to time on TV. But I was like, you didn't even acknowledge my zip code, so I ain't give you no more money. Anyway, getting back to Marvin Sapp. So now he's coming back and he's saying he didn't mean it the way it was. Maybe he was a little too aggressive with his ushers. Maybe. With closing the door. He's emphasized the fact that he did not say lock the door. And then he said people running with a narrative that really wasn't it. They got like a small clip of what happened. And he said it was for a conference. He explains it. He said it was for a conference. And he was in Baltimore. He wasn't even at his church. And he said the money was to pay for the conference. Well, why you ain't say that? Because he never once in that clip said what the money was for. Matter of fact, he didn't say what it was for. Matter of fact, he said after he begged for the money and asked everybody to come down, he said, well, I'm going to go get in my truck, go back to my hotel, and eat my fruit. He didn't say nothing about what the money was for. He didn't say it was supposed to be for the pay for the conference or any of that. So in his explanation, he goes on the Ricky Smiley show because Ricky Smiley has given him his platform to explain why he did what he did as far as closing the doors and all that kind of stuff. And let's listen to it. I'm gonna listen to a little bit of it.
A clip that a whole lot of people have seen. Sadly, one of the things that has happened is people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me, that I raised money at my church, that I kept the people at my church hostage until I raised $40,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared. That I locked folks up at my church. That I made them give $40,000, and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false. Yeah. Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Okay, so they didn't have the venue correct. You still lock people. Let me correct that. You still said close the door. You still said close the door. Doesn't matter where it was. You still tried to hustle $20 out of every person that was in there. Let's move on.
People took issue with me saying shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors. Yeah. I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out.
You said shut the doors. No, you said close the doors, matter of fact. You said close the doors. Don't worry about it. We all leaving together. Meaning we couldn't leave until he left, right? And I'm putting myself in there like I was there, wasn't there. But if I was in there, I would have taken that to mean we all leaving together, including him. Meaning I can't leave without him. Get out of here. Come on. Come on, Rev. Whatever his name is. Is he a reverend? I don't even know.
They've taken issue with my tone. And I can honestly say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more assertive than I should have been. And I can apologize for that. I can apologize for that. But three things I need to make sure people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget for their conference.
How come that wasn't communicated? That wasn't communicated at all. They didn't say what they were doing. They were making it seem like they were sowing blessings. They did not say we need to raise money for the conference. Does that? Nope.
Not Marvin Sapp. Number two, it didn't happen at my church. It happened in Baltimore. Number three, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers. Anybody that goes to church, ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are three times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't out during the offering. One of the reasons being is because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's
Wait a minute. In his video, he said, I need to see 1,000 people moving. If they ain't walking, what they doing? He said that. I need to see 1,000 people moving because he wanted them to move up to them baskets and put their money in that basket. And if you weren't giving tangibly, put your phone on the bucket. I need to see 1,000 people moving. Now all of a sudden, can't nobody walk. That's why he said shut the door or close the door. Can't nobody walk. We know there's sacred. Can't nobody. Come on, bring it.
also about security. As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening all over the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed.
He said it was 1,000. I'm sorry. He said it was 1,000 people in there. Where did the 5,000 people come from? It was 1,000 people there and 1,000 people online, approximately. You give or take. Now it's 5,000. So how did you get to the figure of 20,000 and 40,000? Just asking.
You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention center. But the doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't. And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats over $20 and shut the door. People have come to our campus. They have come to my church to try to cause problems.
So now he's the victim. You didn't hustle your money out of the people that came from all over the world, his words, to praise the Lord. And now that you're getting some backlash from it because people didn't like the way you came off, you're the victim. You're the victim now. Okay. Nope.
Problems, issues, challenges. And again, my children, I don't look at comments. We used to talk about this. I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it. Right. My children do. And they are afraid. And the reason being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. They're afraid for my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my thread and stuff. And all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming anybody because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money so that I can help the organization that has been.
I think you know what was raised. I think you knew at the end of the night what the bottom line was. Get out of here. Them mega churches, and I know he says it wasn't a church, it was a conference or whatever. They knew at the end of the day, at the end of that night, the last dollar that was counted, he knew.
Such a great support to me.
And again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
And where do your money come from?
I've been blessed. I've been extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records. Millions. I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from? And we on the radio live.
Right.
How much have you gotten paid from your church?
Nobody is saying that he wasn't paid already. We know what his net worth is. I can look it up right here. It's in the millions. I know he has money. I get that. But at the same token, he was the draw for the crowd. Marvin Sapp. I'm sure he was like the headliner. That's why people came. But he didn't do that for free. And even if it wasn't what he made off his records, he still got something. And he made sure that it was going to be worth his while. That's why he did what he did. My opinion. My opinion. My opinion.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so see,
Ricky,
Ricky,
what you said.
I'm gonna tell you. What people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring. I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years. You can call the church. You can ask them. I pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month to my church. Wow. 30 grand a month to my church to ensure that the church could go forward. We had a lot of stuff. I had a college campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses, and my membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership, it dwindled, but we never lost anything. And as a matter of fact, this is factual. The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas. I'm not walking around here trying to be a pimp. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. That's never been my passion. I'm serious about.
So why say shut the door and sow a small seed of $20 and that everybody that's in there needs to give up $20? Why couldn't you just say give what you can? Or give if you can. How about that? May the doors, the doors of the church are open, however they say it. Come down and sow your donation. You had a set dollar amount because you had a set dollar amount you wanted to take with you. My opinion.
Ministry. And let me go one step further. There's a whole lot of other pastors around here that are doing the same thing. Most pastors in America are bivocational, meaning they have jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America is only 75 people. Look it up. It's factual. So we're not getting rich off the church. I am bivocational. I'm a W-2 employee at my church. I have a syndicated radio show that I do every week to over 60 different markets. I own real estate. I have mutual funds. I have annuities. I have stocks. I play the market. I took my money and I didn't trick it.
Money that you made from
Money that I made from music, from hit records. I'm one of the only gospel artists with billions of streams.
And you tour.
And I tour. I just came off of a tour.
Sure.
That I made tons of money on. And I'm at the crib right now chilling because I don't have to go on tour. I can wait and do my next day.
Basically, you saying all that to say you don't need no $40,000.
I don't.
Got it.
Nobody's saying he needed it. Nobody said he needed it. Nobody said he needed it. But guess what? It's a quick money grab. $40,000 spend just like $400,000. It'll spend. And you need to make it worth your while to stop. And how many hours was he there? 2? I'm just asking. How long was the conference? You needed to make your 2 hours worth your while. I'm going to leave here. I'm going to get in my truck and I'm going to go back to my hotel and I'm going to eat my fruit. Yeah, I'm doing fruit now. His words.
And I will take it if they gonna give it to me. But I did not raise this money for the premise and purpose.
And that was a program that helped you get right where you
They
are.
gave me a platform. This organization is an organization I grew up in. It's a church organization I grew up in, and I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm gonna bring up the organization because it ain't none of y'all business. But the point is these people.
Why is it a secret? I don't understand that part. That makes no sense to me. Someone explain that to me down in the comments. Why is that a secret?
People gave me a platform, man. And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization gave me. So for me to go back and be able to preach and raise finances and give back to them so that they don't have to go in debt. That, listen, I think one of the most devastating things about this whole situation and circumstance is that, I'm literally praying for all of those who have actually spread it, the lie. And the reason being is because I don't think people really understand that when you do things like this, the effect that it has. Like if I was a weak guy, if I was a very weak person with all of the things that people have said in my comments and stuff like that, that my members of my church have read, that my children have read, people commit suicide on stuff like this.
Sure.
From this type of attack. And I know for a fact that there are some.
Stop playing the victim. Stop playing. There's no way of getting around the fact that you told the ushers to shut the door and for everybody to sow their seed of $20 and that y'all will all, don't worry about it because we all leaving together. Which means they couldn't leave without him. Nobody could leave. They were all leaving together. Why can shut the door? Well, what if I want to leave right now? I got to wait.
Individuals that really don't have a clear understanding of the systems of the church. But then I know that there are some individuals that are listening even as I speak that have been church hurt, and that's the reason why they have a certain level of vitriol and bitterness as it pertains to the church. This particular situation for me is a church hurting situation because I did something for the church, but I'm taking abuse because of it. And that's what church hurt is all about. And
how are you turning this around on you? Now, granted, I do not condone any if he's receiving death threats. Not to say that I don't believe it. I mean, it could be true. I don't know. I wasn't at his house. So I don't know part. But how can you turn this around like you're the victim? He's turning around like he's the victim. Look what happened. Look what's happening to me. Let it blow over. Yeah, I did it. I did it to raise funds. We had to pay for the facility. We had to pay for the conference. We had to, whatever the money was for. But again, if that was what the money was for, it should have been communicated that night. Help us raise money so we can pay this off. There's 1,000 of y'all in here. I need $20 from each of you if you can. So what you can. We have to pay for the conference. We have to pay for the facility. We have to pay for whatever security, whatever it is that you needed to be paid for. That's how it should have been introduced, and it wasn't.
As I just want people to really understand that this is something that we shouldn't do. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you check out everything first. Make sure that you examine the information with clarity and context before you begin to share it. It's sad. I was labeled as a pulpit pimp. Honestly, let me be real, Rick. Some of this stuff is funny. They got this one meme that I was laughing this morning looking at with the Teddy Pendergrass fur coat on. Yeah. And it got at the bottom of my face, said, close the door. It's hilarious. I'm just telling you, I can laugh at that kind of stuff. Yeah. But let me go one step further. Everybody ain't able to handle that. And you all have to really, really be cognizant of it. You got to think about before you repost, before you slander, before you go in people's comments and say vile and just vitriol stuff. Make sure you know for a fact what it is that they've done. Now, if I was had babies all over the country, if I was, stealing money, if you found out that I was actually stealing money, I wouldn't mind being dragged. I wouldn't.
You said giving is worship. Giving is worship. So put the guilt trip on people. If I don't give, that means I'm not worshiping. It's a mind manipulation. Cut it out. Cut it out. Giving is worship. Somebody in the background go, yeah, giving is worship. Giving is worship. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. And the fact that you did not tell them what the money was for, I feel some way about it. Now, mind you, he could have said the same stuff. He could have made the same comments. Had he had said, this is for the paying for the conference. This is for to pay for the other ministers is up here with me for their time. We always give a donation to who's ever speaking. A love offering, they call it, right? Give what you can, but you put a monetary value on it because you wanted it to be worth your while. Now, I'm pretty sure that you only spent 2 hours there, if that. If that. And I'm giving you 2 hours, and that's, at the most.
But that's not what I done. And that's not what I did. The only thing I did was honor the leadership of our church's organization when they asked me to take up an offering. I tried to raise $40,000 for the organization, not for me personally. The money.
The organization that you can't speak on, or even tell us really at this moment who that organization is. Okay.
That I make, I write songs, I own businesses, I have multiple streams of income. I have been good with the money and a good steward over the finances that God has given me. So
you don't have to explain.
At 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem. That means I tricked off my money. But you
worked hard for it.
I work and still work.
And on tour and getting on planes. And
absolutely. Planes, trains, automobiles, yes, hotels, motels, holidays.
And
rehearsal.
And singing and preaching on Sunday. And rehearsals and writing a song and producing and hours and hours in the studio. Yeah, you worked hard for that. And what was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks in number one. Yeah, 48 weeks of number one. When it first came out, I sold 4 million ringbacks and ringtones.
Come on, man.
4 million.
Yeah.
Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. Who do you know?
Nobody's saying you ain't got no money. Nobody ever said you didn't have no money. People were concerned about how you were swindling money from people that may not have had it. Okay, yeah, you were trying to raise money for the organization that you're not allowed to say who the organization is. We get it. But you went about the entire wrong way. You don't say shut the door as if people can't leave. Because you turned around and says, we're all going to leave together. Don't worry about it. Rest and assured, telling people that they weren't really locked in there, but you made a gesture that they couldn't leave. You didn't actually come out and say it, but the gesture was there. The implication was there. Who are you talking to? People that can't comprehend? Get out of here. And Ricky Smiley, that's your buddy, and you going hard for him, and I get it. That's your buddy, and you did this, and you got this, and you got right. He's like, yeah, and I don't need the money because I got several streams of income. Okay, nobody said you didn't. That's not what the complaint is.
That can work a job for 16 years and don't get paid. Who do you know that can give $30,000 a month to a church for 9 years? Do the math. Yeah. Do the math and walk away from it.
So guess what? You got the money to do whatever you want. You worked in the church for 16 years and didn't have to give nothing. You spent $30,000 a month towards your church. You did this, you do that. When we do the math, it sounds like you could have paid for the conference yourself. And that would have been so pleasant in the Lord's sight. and nobody would have to go in their pocket for anything. And that conference would have been on you. How about you sowing that seed? Just saying.
This ain't about $40,000. I don't know what it's about.
Hey,
but
Mark,
I want to be clear.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
You've done a fantastic job of explaining in detail. You know, the whole better than me, because I'd have been going off. No. That's why you're a fantastic job of explaining stuff. It brings to mind the saying that, you know, why run with the truth when the lie is way more entertaining?
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what has happened in this case. And I respect pastors who actually do the good work like you're talking about, but I think it's become real popular over the last few years for people to attack people in your position. You know, whole, preferable in the plane thing. It just became real fashionable. People, our people who are attacking you, you really need to examine your own life. If you are making death threats and typing out violent kind of things like that, you really need to sit back and think about where you are in life. That says a lot about you. I want to say this to you, man. God just put this on my heart, and I'm nowhere in ministry as you. I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it. And let me close. I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment. And I said, okay, God, well, what are you trying to teach me? He said, well, I'm trying to teach you exactly what you've been singing for years. That after this, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be wiser.
Come on.
Is he the victim here? Is he the victim? Oh my gosh.
You're going to be better. You're going to be so much better. And I want my church to know that, I stand in integrity and that I'm here to protect the integrity of our church, the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth. And while I'm here, I might as well invite all of y'all to come to University of Texas Arlington and be with me on Easter Sunday, because we're going to give God a crazy praise. We're going to magnify him. We're going to glorify him.
That should be an interesting service. Let's see how he collects his service, his donations then for Easter Sunday. You know it. Everybody comes out Easter Sunday because they got to put on their clothes, on their Easter suits and Easter dresses. Do people still do that? I don't know.
11 a.m. in Fort Worth.
In the midst of all of this, you can still find room.
Listen,
to
sir.
bring people close. To take this opportunity to use this situation to bring people closer to God. That says a lot about you.
It's not about, one of the things I've learned in pastoring, and one of my members asked me this yesterday. She was like, I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching and you kind of acting like it's not bothering you. And I had to tell them, I learned that sometimes God gives you a grace for certain situations in life. And this is one of the situations that I've been graced for. So, at the end of the day, I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not upset. I understand, people, and I'm going to say this, no matter what I say, there are some people that have already made up their minds what they feel about Marvin Sapp. And they, no matter what I say.
Well, to be honest, I don't feel anything about Marvin Sapp. One way or the other. I don't. I just don't like the fact that he's turned the situation around to make it seem like he's the victim. Now, granted, I don't condone death threats. If he's getting death threats, I don't condone that. I don't know why people do some crazy mess like that. And that's unfortunate. I don't feel like his children should be in harm's way if they are in harm's way. And I get if he is receiving death threats and his children are concerned, they have every right to be, because there's some crazy people out here. But at the same token, what you did is what you did. You cannot even erase that. The video was out there. We saw it, even though it was a small clip. We saw the clip. And in context of the clip, you said shut the door, close the door, whatever. Everybody needs 1,000 people here. You were counting people. You were counting their pockets, because if all of them had $20, you were counting how much that would be. And don't worry about it. You ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant, as if you knew that they were going to go spend some money to go eat after the conference. You ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant Don't worry, we all gonna leave together. That implies that we all in here together. And we all gonna leave out together. That's what that says to me. So there's that. Y'all, tell me what you think. I ain't listening to that no more. He said enough. I get it. He don't need the 40,000. Nobody said that he needed it. Okay, that was never an issue either. The whole purpose of the fact is what he did, and he felt like he had to come and say something. Well, maybe he felt that he had to come say something because of the death threats, and that's unfortunate because I don't like that to happen to anybody. But leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. What you think about Ricky Smiley posting that? He didn't like none of his questions. He didn't even call him on the carpet like, this organization that you were raising the money for, why you can't say their name? Like, who are they? You think they're going to receive death threats? What? If they were just holding the conference, they ain't got nothing to do with anything. But here it is what it is. Y'all, if you made it this far, thank you. You've enjoyed this conversation. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone be blessed. Peace.